In this SQL WHERE tutorial, we explore how to filter records using SQL so that we can return a subset of all records based on some criteria of our choosing. We will introduce the basic form of the WHERE clause, and then we discuss how we can use the AND, OR, and NOT logical operators to construct simple conditions. This is a continuation of our data analysis using SQL series. You can find links to the playlist and other helpful resources in the description box below. Also, subscribe to the channel so that you can be informed of future videos. And without further ado, let's get to it. This tutorial series uses the Sakila database. The Sakila database models a DVD rental company. This is the entity relationship diagram. We will only be working with the film table in this video. Alright. In the previous video, we talked about select star, which returns all columns and all rows in a table. Since we're using the film table, we can do this to inspect our data. Select star from film. To run this query, you can hit the lightning bolt or press and hold the control key and press enter. We see that the film table has 1,000 records and 13 columns. But if we want to analyze only a subset of records from the table, the SQL WHERE clause will be our friend. The SQL WHERE clause enables us to filter data based on a bit of logic and conditions. This, in turn, helps us to focus on specific aspects of our data that we might need for reporting or analysis, or to better understand our data set. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that the WHERE clause is an optional clause. The general form of a query that leverages a WHERE clause looks like this. Select variables from a table where some criteria is true. So let's fill this in. Let's say we want to write a query to identify all films that are shorter than 1 hour in length. We can do this as follows. Select star from film where length is less than 60. Or say we want to identify all films that have a rating of G. We can do this as follows. Select star from film where rating equals G. In this way, we are able to filter our result set to answer some questions about our underlying data using only a subset of records. Now let's say we want to use more than one criteria. Say we want to identify movies that are both shorter than 60 minutes and are rated G. We can achieve this by using the keyword AND. Select star from film where length is less than 60 and rating equals G. When we analyze our result set this time, we see that there are 21 records and that all movies returned are shorter than an hour and are rated G. Both conditions in the WHERE clause must be true to be returned when using AND. Let's continue along this path and say we are now interested in the subset of films that are either shorter than 60 minutes or are rated G. We can achieve this as follows. Select star from film where length is less than 60 or rating equals G. Do you think that this will return more records or fewer records? If you said that there would be more records, then you are correct. Using OR, we find that there are 253 records in our data set instead of the 21 records in the previous example. The reason for this is that when we use OR, only one of the conditions needs to evaluate as true in order to be returned in the results. So, our results show that movies that are either shorter than 60 minutes, regardless of rating, or rated G, regardless of length, are returned in our result set. Easy peasy, right? We can continue along this path and include more conditions in our filtering criteria. For example, select star from film where length is less than 60 or rating equals G or rating equals PG. Our results set now reflects records that are either shorter than 60 minutes, rated G, or rated PG. For results where any one of these criteria evaluate as true, that record will be found in the results set. One consideration that you'll want to be sure of as you use 3 or more conditions is to use parentheses so that you are explicitly indicating the order in which the expressions are to be evaluated. In this case, we can swap the ors, no problem. But when we throw and in the mix, the order becomes important. For example, select star from film where length is less than 60 and rating equals G or rating equals PG. In this case, 43 records are returned, all shorter than 60 minutes in length and rated G or PG. Versus select star from film where length is less than 60 and rating equals G or rating equals PG. You see, we changed the order of the parentheses. This time, 215 records are returned, all G films shorter than 60 minutes, and all PG films. See the difference? Along with and or, we also have not. Not excludes records. For example, select star from film where not rating equals NC-17. The result set in this case includes only those records that are not rated NC-17. So it will include those rating G, PG, PG-13, and R. There are a lot of conditions that we can write in SQL, including conditions that leverage wildcard searches in text, filters on a range of values or set of values, and those involving null values. We'll go in depth on each of these and more in the next video in our series on conditions. So, make sure to subscribe to the channel if those topics are of interest to you. Alright, armed with knowledge of the where clause and the and, or, and not operators, as a challenge, give the following problem a try. Feel free to leave your solutions in the comments below. Write a query that returns a list of all films that are rated G, PG, or PG-13 that can be rented at a rate of less than $3. Leave your solution in the comments below and hit the subscribe button so you'll get notified about the next video that we release in our SQL for Data Analysis series. Thanks for listening.